Hey, welcome back to Wax and Relax Vinyl Listening Room. I'm John.
And I am also John.
Father and son metal fans, we're going to do our metal tag for the year 2025. We actually had the 2024 one all ready to go, but we're here in Florida and we got hit with a couple of hurricanes, so it put us real far behind on the scheduling. So we just never got to finish the 2024 tag. So as soon as the 25 tag was ready to go, we started putting our answers together. So just to let you know, I'm old. He's young. So you're going to have some stuff that's a little bit different from what you hear and what you see in the VC in terms of the metal tag. I'm a curmudgeon guy that is from Tampa 80s scene that created the Tampa death metal scene. And he's kind of all over the map, so you'll see some crazy stuff that you're probably not seeing on a lot of the other videos. So let's give it a shot. Question number one, hype. Name a release you're eagerly awaiting in 2025. Probably going to be one of the new records coming out from Amorphis, or on a local level, somewhat with what's going on with the band now, Savatage. Both have said that they're supposed to have records out in 2025. The Savatage situation is a little weird. John Oliva saying that he's not going to be able to travel. I know John, he's been here in this room, interviewed with us before on my old radio show. And yeah, he's had a tough go of it health-wise, and that man can write a mean song and he can record some mean vocals. But yeah, I don't think he's up to any sort of world tour or even a U.S. tour. But apparently they're going to do a record. They're going to tour with it, and Zach's going to be taking the helm as the lead singer. So it'll be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be all about this year. Question number two. Show the 25th item, LP, CD, your choice, in your collection. We got rid of all the CDs. Traded them for cash, which we used to buy a guitar amp. So it was a beautiful trade-off. But here's, no, it's this one. Yes. This is his. I don't really know much about this. And Ensiferum. They're Irish? No.
They're from Helsinki, Finland.
All right.
And they are a folk metal band.
All right. So kind of following along that trajectory that we got into with Amorphis, going with that Finnish folk band stuff.
They're a lot more heavier.
He's a big fan. He actually was just playing me a little bit of this before we started. Cool stuff. I'm gonna have to learn a little bit more about it, but that's in his wheelhouse.
It's very heavy. From the first time I heard it, I'm like, okay, I want to find more albums by them. Then I'm just gonna start collecting most of their albums on vinyl because they're awesome.
Got another one, picture disc that he was just showing me a little bit ago. All right, so that was the 25th item in our collection. Overdue. Name an older band that you checked out for the first time in 2024 and loved. Now, this is a band I've known about since I was a little kid, but he has just discovered them, so we figured we'd use this perspective for this particular pick. So he just discovered this.
The band called Crocus.
Yeah, Crocus. That's Headhunter from 1983. I remember, MTV playing the shit out of Screaming in the Night, and they opened for Def Leppard that particular tour. I've known a ton about Crocus. I actually was in an 80s band in the 80s, and we played a couple of Crocus tunes, but he just discovered him on his own. I never kind of pushed it on him or anything like that, and caught him in here listening to some Crocus one day, and next thing you know, we're digging through the dollar bins and filling out our Crocus collection.
Yeah, Crocus, the band Rat, like heavy metal, hand metal, and I discovered that he's known all his life.
Yeah, it's all new to him. So, it's cool. He's from a perspective where he doesn't just separate the black metal, the death metal, and the classic metal and the hair stuff. He kind of has discovered it all on his own and is enjoying it. So, kind of a cool perspective. He didn't have those preconceived notions of all that bullshit we had to deal with when we were younger. Feeding the Monkey. How do you purchase most of your music? Local store, Bandcamp, specific online, etc., etc. We go to a local store here called Kingfish Records. That's where we get most of our new stock. A lot of times we'll go to Clearwater Records, and we get a good bit of used stock over there. They only deal with used unless it's new stock that they've purchased from someone, not from a distributor. But yeah, between those two, those are kind of our main haunts. Occasionally we'll go down to Bananas Records, where I worked there in the 80s and 90s, but a little bit of a haul for us. And usually when we hit record stores, we hit 2 or 3 at a time, so we try to hit whatever is immediately closest to us.
Yeah, the Kingfish is where I got the Anesthelium stuff.
Anestherium, yeah. All right, very cool. Number 5, Enigma. Show a heavy metal band that musically is really hard to place in a heavy metal subgenre. Now, again, I come from the 80s, and when this came out, we didn't know what the hell to make of it. 24/7 Spies. First 2 records. Great stuff.
Not recently, the singer just died.
Yeah, just recently, P. Fluid was beaten to death. Was driving an ambulance of some sort and was beaten to death. Very, very sad story. He was a great frontman, great singer.
All types of vocals he had.
Jokingly, we called them Living Van Bad Pepperbone because they were like that perfect cross between Living Colour, Van Halen, the early Chili Peppers, Fishbone, and Bad Brains. So good mix there. Great stuff. They came out of that whole group that gave us Nuclear Assault and all that New York hardcore stuff. And
yeah, this second album is probably a lot heavier than the first one.
So good stuff. If you ever get a chance to check it out, certainly do. But yeah, we didn't know what the hell to call them, where to file them, or whatever. 24/7 Spies. Rest in peace, Pete Fluid. Okay, next, Eating Crow. Talk about an album you used to hate, but after years it finally clicked, and now you can't get enough of it. This is his. He discovered LA Guns on his own. I fucking hated this record in the 80s. And up until a couple of weeks ago, I still hated it. But he got it, and he played the shit out of it around the house. And it's not as bad as I remembered. I actually quite enjoyed it. I don't like Guns N' Roses. I thought that maybe Tracy Guns was the talent in that collective there. You got Phil Lewis from Girl, which, I love some old school, British glam. But yeah, way better. I'm a huge Stones fan, so that whole bluesy rock thing, the older I get, the more I like it. Hated it in 1988. Yeah, hated it, absolutely. That's why we never had girls at the show. But we're older now and bigger.
Except I always tell him the hardest one for me to find right now was the one I think before that came out. A Cocked and Loaded.
No, that's the second one. Yeah,
That's
don't push your luck. We're lucky I got to play this one in the house. All right, number 7, Impulse. Show an album that you blind bought in 2024. I don't blind buy records. I'm a dollar bin guy. He's the blind buy guy.
All the time. So this band is called
Acacia Strain.
I discovered them from an album called The Great Bloom. Very heavy. And funny enough, like every album they have has a picture of some sort of bird on the cover. Great Bloom has the album with the bird on it, and it's being sacrificed.
Oh.
But like if you look at this album, it's like you wouldn't assume that that's a metal album until you play it.
Yeah, definitely. It looks kind of like some sort of weird alternative,
Except
or even a classical record.
Except the back of it, like with all the dead trees.
Yeah, no, that looks like Florida after the hurricane. Cool. All right, on Rise Records, the Acacia Strain. Yeah, I haven't heard it yet, but it's his thing. Collector's Scum. Show a title that you own more than one pressing of on the same format. Do you ever buy doubles? Sometimes you buy doubles. And I have a friend that collects all my doubles. So anytime I end up with a double, I end up giving him a big stack of records. We're homeboys, local guys here. So we ended up with 2 copies of Human by Death. Both same issue. These are the Relapse reissues from the last couple of years. I think they're both clear vinyl. Wait, what color is this one?
It might be just all.
Oh no, that one's black. So this is the one we're gonna sell. The clear one, we're fucking keeping.
And that's the same album that has their version of God of Thunder.
No.
It is.
No.
I'm telling you, look at it.
It's It's a bonus track. It wasn't on the original album. Fuck you.
After the first time, I know what I'm talking about.
Funny thing was, is I played in a band in the '80s, and we were, local metal band. We were the only one that didn't get signed, but everyone in my band ended up going on to play in different bands. Nasty Savage, Massacre. Our bass player was Scott Carino, who did the tour for this particular record, and actually
Lack of comprehension.
Yeah, it plays in the video for Lack of Comprehension, and on the record he had to go in and do some touch-ups on Cosmic Sea. So yeah, Scott Carino from Fester plays on Cosmic Sea on this particular record.
And when you look at the video, you see his hands.
Yeah, that's Scotty in the video. So Scott, if you're watching, all right, what's next? Show off a grail, something you really wanted that you acquired in 2024. All right, this is going to be my answer. Let me see all those. I got a couple of cool old school 80s thrash records. That's where I'm from. That's what I love. And I didn't realize how difficult some of those are to find at a reasonable price. I mean, because everything's out there is $75, $100. But I recently got the Metal Blade reissue of Violence, Eternal Nightmare, one of my favorites. And then both of these, two big time favorites for me. First two Forbidden records, Forbidden Evil and Twisted into Form. This particular is my favorite. This one is his favorite.
I like them both. I take a band I discovered on my own. One day I found out the song off Forbidden Evil for Taking Out the Gates, and just found out how heavy that album is.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he always gets surprised to hear how many of these people I've seen and
hung out with.
Yeah, met, hung out with, whatever. All right, what do we got next? Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, no. Number 10. A plea to the VCLT gods. What is a grail item you are on the hunt for? Well, seeing that I love that old school Bay Area thrash, one of my favorites from that period of time, I would love to find a copy of Mordred Fool's Game. No one has reissued it as far as I know, and they're pretty rare to find in the wild. I've never seen one in the wild. Back then I had them on cassette, I had them on CD, but I never ever came across a Fool's Game on LP, and I'm looking for a miracle, as they say in the Grateful Dead circles. Alright, 11. Boomerang album. Show an album that no matter how many times you purge it from your collection, another copy returns to you. I had it on LP, I had it on cassette, I had it on CD, I've gotten rid of all of them. And then he goes ahead and shows up. Hey, Dad, look what I got. And he shows up with Dokken, Tooth and Nail. So it's
another album I love.
It's like the 17th time it's shown up in my collection. Truth be told, I like a bunch of stuff off of the first side.
Side 1 is probably like the most like aggressive side. When you go to side 2, it's like Rolling Stones. It's like a slow side.
Yeah, you got the you got Into the Fire, but Alone Again and all that stuff. But comes home with a white label promo. Good job, Junior. All right.
Yeah, I'm the same guy that always. I'm the same one that bought him some cool stuff that he didn't have in his collection and didn't want to purchase. So like Kiss Unmasked and stuff like that.
All right. So next one, Reunion. Name an artist that you had lost track of over time, but reconnected with in 2024. All right. So way back in '83, I was a loyal Kerrang reader, and I had the Wasp Animal Fuck Like a Beast single, which I still have, and that first Wasp album. Absolutely love that first Wasp record. And then after that, I really didn't care. I didn't like the second record, and anything after that. Oh yeah, there's Fuck Like a Beast. I really didn't pay any attention to them after that. Kind of lost touch with them.
The second album, he's not a fan of.
Yeah, not at all. Anything after that, I'm not a fan of. But we got this, and he plays the shit out of it, and he's now been streaming some of the later stuff, and I'm still not so much of a fan, but it was cool to hear some of that first record, that first single again.
Yeah, my two favorite songs is the song called Tormentor and Love Machine.
Yeah, good stuff.
But he's the goofy one. Every time you hear Tormentor, he makes fun of the lyrics.
Well, yeah, they were a little bit cheesy. But it was the 80s, we were all cheesy. All right, so
They did.
All right, number 13. Upstart. Name a new band whose debut album really impressed you. It didn't have to come out in 2024, but recently. I'm going to turn this over to him because I know nothing about this.
So this album, which I found at the record store called Sound Exchange, and I'm looking through all the metal section, and this shows up, and of course I had to. We were watching. Forget his name. He did the metal tag and talked about this band.
I don't recall, but this is Crypta, Echoes of the Soul.
Funny thing about this band, I remember the big bass player from being in another band called Nervosa.
Nervosa.
The same place. They're both from
Brazil,
and I still need Nervosa on vinyl.
All right.
They're basically the same thing except for the different singer for that band.
Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, I've seen you watch the videos in the house on this.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, the drummer.
Right.
She.
That's the picture he's talking about right there.
Her on double bass is crazy to see how fast they play.
All right.
And how she growls too.
This came out in 2021 on Napalm Records.
Yep.
So, Crypta, Echoes of the Soul. All right, so next. Influencer. Show a band or release that you bought in 2024 as a direct result of watching someone's YouTube channel. I actually reached out to this guy in one of his comments. We recently started, watching each other's channel and posting some responses and whatnot. His channel's called Zepp Pearl. He's obviously a Zeppelin and a Pearl Jam fan, but he does a bunch of other stuff as well. And he recently posted a video about the Castle Donington record from 1980. Had Rainbow, Scorpions, April Wine, Saxon, Riot, and Touch. And, well, this was the record.
I walked in on him hearing. I'm like, what is this? I'm hearing Ronnie James singing. I forget what song it was.
No, it was Graham Bonnet singing the Ronnie James Dio song. It was Stargazer from.
Yes, I walked in and it's loud. I'm like, what are you listening to? And he's like,
Castle Donington, 1980. So what was cool is I watched his video and he gave a great thorough review of the record. Now, this has been sitting in Clearwater Records for a long time, and every time I go in there, I look at it. It was $8, and I just would go past it. I'm like, I don't need another live record of, of bands that I already love, and I already have live versions of it and all that. But I'm like, watching the video, really enjoyed it, and I'm thinking, this was really a landmark time and place because this is what became Monsters of Rock. And so I had to get it. $8 worked for me.
Yeah, look at him now. He has it.
So thank you, Zepp Pearl. If you're a fan of Zeppelin at all, or Pearl Jam, or just other good hard rock and some metal, throws in some new wave British heavy metal stuff now and again, check them out. Don't judge a book by its cover. Show a great album with a bad cover art. I think a lot of people are going to show this one because it was just totally cheddar.
Fistful of Metal.
Anthrax.
This is an album I was at one of the local record stores before this hurricane hit. Before one of them hit, it was the record store in Tarpon Springs, and I'm looking at all the metal stuff, and I know the guy well, and he said that's a good copy, probably $25-$30 that. It was a sealed copy, colored vinyl, and I walked into the house like, well, for now, this is the only Anthrax we can afford for right now.
No, but that's a good choice. I mean, I remember when the record came out, definitely was something super important to me. In fact, the first time I was ever in a recording studio, it was a place where where the band that I was in was doing some rehearsing, and the guys who owned the studio needed to borrow some money. So I bought some studio time ahead of time and sort of lending them the money. I was one of the only guys around here that had a job back in our teenage years. So we rented out the studio with this extra time I had. I put together a bunch of friends, and the first song I ever actually recorded as the lead singer was Metal Thrashing Man off this record. So pretty cool. But yeah, actually the record store he's talking about was wiped out when the hurricane hit.
after the second one hit.
No, actually, the first one was the flood one. The second one was
Oh,
the
yeah.
wind one. First one, Hurricane Helene, was a flood event, and the water came up in most places about 4 feet. And Tarpon Springs is right on on
the
right on the
bay.
water. So yeah, that water came up and it just wiped out the entire store. Actually, the whole area there is.
So we
kinda-
tried going back, and then one of the one of the cleanup guys like, "What are you doing here?"
Go to the record store. No, you're not. Yeah, he was a dick, but you know. Anyway,
Lots of record store I go to quite a lot. In other videos, you're gonna see some records I pull that's from that same record store.
all right. So yeah, we'll definitely have some more metal videos. He doesn't want to do the other shit. He just wants to do the metal videos. So if you're a metal fan and you're watching us, expect to see him.
Metal or hip hop? Metal, hip hop, or jazz?
All right. So let's talk about the next one. It says Rembrandt, show an album whose cover art was created by one of your favorite artists. I think that you're going to see a lot of Repka. You know, for us, we're old school 80s thrash fans. So, you know, you're talking Violence and Toxic and Megadeth. But he did a bunch of the death stuff. And we chose Spiritual Healing because this past week we went to an event for the Tampa Bay Museum of Metal. And it's pretty cool. Death Metal Dave put it together. If you're an Obituary fan, you know who Death Metal Dave is. And they put together this event. It's kind of a walkthrough time machine, if you will. And there was a lot of cool stuff out there. There was backdrops from bands. There was instruments from bands. You know, jackets that belonged to musicians and
Like Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, around here there's a lot of history with Obituary back from, you know, they were called an Executioner, you know, Death, Nasty Savage,
His old band.
Deicide. Yeah, my band was on the flyer wall quite a bit. But there's a lot of cool stuff that happened from down here. So they put together this museum. It was pretty cool because back before this record, when Chuck came back from San Francisco and put together the local version of Death, he got the guys from Massacre. And so at that period of time, we're talking 87, 88 or so, I'd always hang out in the parking lot. I'd talk to James Murphy for hours, you know, between bands and stuff like that.
Fun fact, I met him.
Yeah. So for the third record, he joins the band, replaces Rick Ross. And so he was at this event, so I got to introduce him to my son. So got a cool picture of the two of them together. If I can figure it out to do it the right way, I'm going to put it somewhere here.
In one of the corners.
Yeah, we'll put it somewhere.
The guy he's talking about, fun fact, I did not know that he played on a lot of my favorite albums. Like two of my favorite Testament records. I can hear them all the time. Like,
Yeah, he's in Testament.
it's like every band, well, every album I loved, found out that James Murphy's on all of them.
Yeah, he was also, well, he played in the Testament records. He played in the Obituary record.
Yep.
He played in Death, Cancer, Desynchronate.
He was in every band.
Yeah, he was in a bunch of things. But good guy, a real good guy. It was kind of a cool place and a cool time to be from. All right, so next, name an album that you'd like to see reissued on vinyl, which is my preferred medium. Yeah, this one was easy. I can't find it anywhere. Soilwork.
It's the one I was talking about because like it's a band that he got me into, and the other day on the way home from this record store that we went to, I started playing this band and like man, it's really hard because like we have a lot of local bands that we found on vinyl, but it's hard to find any of Soilwork on vinyl.
Yeah, no, I'd love to find Soilwork, Natural Born Chaos. I've never seen a copy of it. I can't find one on Discogs or anywhere like that. If you know where there's a source for it, let me know. If I'm full of shit and have no idea that it's readily available, just point me in the right direction. But yeah, definitely, that's what we'd like to get our hands on, is a copy of Natural Born Chaos by Soilwork. All right, name an album from a genre that you typically do not listen to very much. Here's a funny thing. I like black metal. Not a ton. I can't listen to too much of it. But in bits and spurts, yeah, I do dig it. You know, originally for me, black metal was, you know, Venom record. You know, and then you know, I saw plenty of posters back in the day where Merciful Fate was considered black metal, but for real, you know, black metal stuff, it was probably when I got into like Emperor and things like that.
The Cradle,
Yeah, but one of the ones
Challenge for You.
One of the ones I love, I'm a Dimmu Borgir fan. You know, it's okay. Like Cradle of Filth and Dimmu Borgir, I'm okay with the fact that they've got a lot of money to put into big productions. They're well-made records and they're enjoyable to listen to. So, whatever. I like Dimmu Borgir.
And a great symphonic band.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for me,
So who's your black metal band?
It's kind of a two-way tie, which if you don't know, I'm a big black metal fan. So number one is Immortal, in
The Heart of Winter?
At the Heart of Winter, and my recent pickup from the Metal Museum that he took me to was Mayhem.
Oh yeah, I picked up some Mayhem. Death Crush.
Which, of course, finding out the backstory with this band was interesting with the lead singer.
They know the story. They all know the story.
I'm just saying. It was interesting for me to find out that the singer shot himself like that.
Yeah, Twisted Tail, for sure. All right, what band do you hope to see live in 2025?
And going back to Amorphous,
Amorphous.
as you already know.
Yeah,
It's a band I've seen quite a few with both of them. But
yeah, I love Amorphous. They're, you know, out of those bands from that era that are still going, they're still my favorite. Absolutely.
And you know, like it feels like every time I think of a new artwork, like I don't know, like put up a list of songs and put on a new album. So that album right there is the newest album. But the one I love was
Queen of Time.
Yep, Queen of Time, which I saw on tour with you actually. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. In closing, tell your viewers about 2 new to you YouTube channels you discovered in 2024, or just shout out 2 channels you enjoy. There's a fellow soul that has similar music taste to me. He also does his record collecting with his son. I haven't seen the video where he has his son actually on screen with him, but you know, definitely is kindred soul to us, and that's going to be Craig from Spirit of Vinyl. Also, we like to watch guilty pleasure Amoeba. What's in my bag? Some of those are pretty cool. So if you get a chance, check out some of those Amoeba ones if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, they're interesting. With like depending on like there was one with some guys from like like the drummer for Anthrax was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like depending on what.
There's a good one with Mark Osegueda from Death Angel.
Yeah, there's
a good one with Dave Lombardo.
My favorite one, because I'm a big like new metal fan. Also, Corey Taylor was in one, and he has some very strange stuff that no one would have expected to be in a bag for him.
You know what else was a good one? It was a Danny Elfman one. Anyway, so that's it. That's our Metal Tag 2025. If you've lasted this long, we certainly thank you for staying with us. Again, I'm an old curmudgeonly old man, and this is my son, and you know, we listen to metal together. We love metal together, and you know, just glad that you were able to stick with us this long and see what it is that is for our tag for 2025. If you liked what you've seen, please hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you on the B-side.